Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Capital. Yeah, we're done full here. I think the president even mentioned that there ain't no more room for nobody. We're done full. We need to put up a wall or something. But yeah, the reason they're full though is because the Hash Pash is taking place on this Saturday, April 6th. In a very cool city, Ann Arbor. It always makes those top 10 or top 50, top 100, depending on the poll. This was March Madness, the Final Four weekend. MSU looks like they're already X'd out there. They were playing Texas Tech and Auburn playing Virginia. They had a disclaimer. It's kind of funny here, but this is a U of M bar. Obviously, Michigan is their school. I had a Cassius, how about that? How about that? That's what it looks like. It was good drink, and then breast tenders. And a lot of people, blue screen. A lot of people out and about on this particular day. Then you can pay it forward. This is a nice thing. And a shout out, someone else left this, but for construction workers, they're going to help rebuild our cities. Ann Arbor's already a great city, but we're gonna make Detroit great again. But in due time, it's already starting to turn that way. So it's a good deal. Now they have good weather vanes in Ann Arbor. The motorcycles were out. Here we go. Now I made it to Main Street. And they got a rock, paper, scissors. You know, this tape is acting up a little bit. That's why we'll see how it goes. This is old school video recording, but art is everywhere, even on these like power grid boxes, man, and that's a good thing too. And then across the street, an Indian restaurant. You have good diversity in Ann Arbor, even among the fans, the ventilation systems. I like this. That's classic. And the brickwork is good too. This the Jolly Pumpkin, one of those breweries. And then across the street, the historic Arc. So Peter Mulvey was playing. And then on the 7th, Sunday, Marshall Crenshaw says, someday, some way, we might make a better show, but they kind of doubt it. But it's good to be hopeful. Here the Tigers are down to the Royals 4-3. And that was covered live by Fox. And it's so nice. People were out dining out in front, which is a cool thing. And this is a misnomer here, this drive-through. At one time, I'm sure it was, but not no more. But you can go inside and get your thing. Look at this. It's full again. 0 available spaces, and somehow those people can't read the sign. What does 0 mean? There's no room. It's full. Yeah, we're having that border issue, but yeah, we just have to let them know there's no more room. Sorry. Escape, that's, yeah. And the fire truck in action. Okay, now on State Street, this is where the main action is, like the Diag and so forth. And it's kind of like a tourist attraction. People taking pictures. Wow. And then a crane. That's always, things are looking up when you see that. Things are getting built. And they have people were exercising with those twirly things. And this. That's pretty cool. I like that. I couldn't do that. And then the dog, kind of greenish. A Margaritaville bike. That's well done. The colors dead on. Now they have a stage set up, and I miss all like the speeches and so forth, and I think they had poetry, but they have entertainment ongoing. Let's listen in.
They're amazing. They're amazing. I like them. Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah. One more time.
I've seen that guy somewhere before. Guys, have to jog my memory.
Who? I'm about to get high. I tell you that. But we are the Yes We Can cast from Planet Nine Amtrak, an original musical. And but make sure you stay on top of your senators and congressmen, because if not, it just might get worse again. I don't know. But look, it may.
Bullshit, all you jerks. Sell your breakfast sandwiches and probably give you the squirts.
Stand out here.
Oh, stepped inside. I think this is the library, but then here we go again. This was a dog-friendly event, which, yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, there were people all over the place. There's some kind of hot rod there. Taking the detour. You can even do that in Ann Arbor. Look at those wheels. Pinball Pete's. Yeah, it's a happening city, Ann Arbor. And it makes those lists all the time. But we need to make Detroit great again. And we got a good start. People hang out on the... Oh, look at this. Is that safe? Oh, my Lord. Those young people nowadays. If they're strapped in, maybe I could see it. Have some kind of harness. But my Lord. Here's another, first sign of spring. Those flowers kind of are early in the ball game. But, yeah. Here's the website. You could get the TV air times. This show mainly airs on Comcast, but it may air elsewhere. You can watch it on YouTube also. All right, the football-inspired bridges. And that's the Ecorse Creek. It'll turn into the Ecorse River. But here... friend Steve Fry, we're going to check out the Giant Tire.
Is the original Uniroyal Midwest Management Center. This was built in 1960, I want to say 1963 or 64, I can't remember, as a regional sales office for Uniroyal. This was one of 4 or 5 that they had built around the country. And this entire site was purchased for the management center and for the contingency plan to put the Giant Tire here after the World's Fair.
Art is everywhere.
It's a big college since built up, expanded. So that architecture with the almost like the column, exterior column structure, that's formed out of concrete. And originally, they weren't sure if they wanted to possibly expand in the future when they built that. And they had a choice to make. Either get rid of the concrete forms, because they made the concrete on site, or they could either get rid of it, store it somewhere, and they decided instead of paying for storage fees, they would bury the forms. And so somewhere on the grounds here, they actually buried the molds to make those exterior walls. I doubt it if Baker College knows where they are, but at one time the Uniroyal people did.
All right, well, this is their parking area here.
So this is still rather new. I think this area was expanded in 2012, I think. So not too long ago. The catch basin is. So that area between the catch basin and the freeway is right away that was owned by, it was actually owned by Uniroyal at one time, and they've deeded it over to Baker College. But they can't build on it anyways. You could possibly have entrance and exit ramps. So we are on private property now. This plot is owned by Michelin North America, but we have permission to be here today directly from the marketing department, public relations department of Uniroyal. Uniroyal Michelin, same thing.
We're going to cross the Ecorse River or creek?
This is the Ecorse Creek.
Creek, okay.
So this runs through Dearborn Heights. And it's actually looking pretty good. I was here about 6 months ago, and the upstream side of the bridge was all stopped up with branches and debris. And it looks like it came through, and the county's responsible for this. Looks like they cleaned it up.
We could make a welcome center, a pure Michigan rest stop before people make it to downtown. And they could get their directions, use the restroom, get a snack, a beverage.
So this area, as we're coming up where I'm pointing to, if you look at like Google Earth, you can still kind of see the remnants of a path, and that's where Enterprise Drive used to come through. So Enterprise Drive comes up from Allen Park, and it kind of terminates here at the railroad tracks. But it used to go all the way through to Outer Drive, and you can still see that on the aerial photographs, the path that it used to take.
We're getting close.
Between the tracks and the tires, it's actually...
Oh, we got some train action. This rocks. Now that's the wind tunnel. Yes?
I think so, because that's a newer building. This is the route that the holiday train came by at Christmas. Then I held the camera as the train went by, and then when the train went by, the tire was in the background.
Perfect.
It was a great shot.
The holiday train used these tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, exit ramp. Either go right in front of the tire or right behind it, and parking would need to be
In the Baker College.
It would have to be, more into the Baker College area, because this area here, which would make more sense, technically for the traffic, is all protected.
Protected wetlands?
Protected wetlands, yeah. So in order to build here, they would have to do mitigation, which means they would have to pay to fix lost wetlands somewhere else in the state. So they'd have to find an area that used to be wetlands that got destroyed by, development or whatever years ago, and then mitigate it, which means return it back to wetlands. And that's expensive, so it doesn't make sense to build on wetlands if they can help it.
All right, Steve, we're in front of the tire here, and is it referred to particularly in a certain way? Like, do some people say big tire, or is it now where everybody says it's the giant tire?
Well, officially, it was always the giant tire. So it was originally built as a Ferris wheel for the 1964-1965 New York World's Fair. And so right from the beginning, it was the U.S. Royal Giant Tire. And U.S. Royal was the brand name of tires that were made by the U.S. Rubber Company. So U.S. Royal wasn't a company, it was the brand name. U.S. Rubber was the company name. But it was always called the Giant Tire.
Okay.
They changed the logo on it while it was still at the fair because they came out with the Uniroyal brand name in 1964. So it's at one point, it was, I think, August of 64. The center of the tire, or the wheel, changed its logo from U.S. Rubber to Uniroyal. It said Uniroyal U.S. Rubber on it, so they were using the brand name. Still a brand name, it wasn't the company name yet. When it was moved here in 1966, it was just the outer skin that was moved. It's a brand new steel structure in 1966 that was built. And at that time, when they put the letters on it, that's when they put Uniroyal tires on it rather than U.S. Royal. And then eventually, I think it was in 68, they did change the company name. So they dropped the U.S. Rubber as a name, and then the company officially became Uniroyal as the company. So that was worldwide. And then it is just...
You got all that?
Really a stone's throw from the,
But
now Baker
it's
College.
a giant tire.
Midwest Management Center and their sales office for Uniroyal at the time.
Okay, you say a bird's nest in the Y?
Yeah, that I was here in December and it was not there, so that's just been since this spring. In the Y, it looks like there's a rather large bird's nest there, which is interesting.
And it was an eagle, though?
Oh no, I don't think so. I saw an eagle here. It was a bald eagle here, but it wasn't making a nest there.
Okay.
That'd be cool if it is a nest. But
Now, what happened with the tire here? A little blowout?
Yeah, it looks like it's losing some tread there. That's interesting. Again, in December, that wasn't like that. So that piece of tread, we can walk there as you're filming. I can point some things out. So that piece of tread that you see, that's kind of coming undone, that would have been original. Or that was original from 1964 from the World's Fair. And the very center tread, you see that it's in sections. The very center was actually molded here locally in Michigan to fill in the space that used to have the Ferris wheel. In 1994, they added these shoulder sections, as they call it, right on the edge. So before that, it looked like a radial ply tire, and now it's got, a bias ply tire. And now it's got the radial look to it. So that all those edges were added in 1994 when they did the new wheel cover. Again, the treads on either side are original 64, and the tread sections in the center were added in 1966 when they built it here. Something else worth noting is that the overall width of the tire is narrower now than when it was in New York. When it was in New York, that center section was a lot wider to allow room for the Ferris wheel to go inside, because the cars stuck out from the outside of the tire. And now they've narrowed it down with the new car. In fact, I might take a picture.
So how many people buzz by here? Is it 100,000 a day, you say?
100,000 motorists a day.
So it's quite the landmark then.
It is. Everyone that comes in from Metro Detroit, the airport, to head downtown has to pass by it because this is the path. It's people coming up from down south, they would take I-75 typically, so they wouldn't see it. But all the traffic from Chicago, all the traffic from the airport pass by here.
We need to have a place where people can take a selfie with the giant tire.
Yeah, because right now, people do it, but they will usually pull off on the side of the freeway, which is dangerous. Get out of their car, and like Paul McCartney and Wings did in 1975, there's a famous photo of them doing that, but it's dangerous. This would be a much better option. Unfortunately, the two ways to get to it is through Baker College, and you have to cross through private property, or from Enterprise Drive in Allen Park, and it's the railroad property. You're not allowed to cross that either. It's not an actual railroad crossing, so it's very dangerous.
We can do better.
Yep.
Well, what happened to the nail?
Well, in 1998, a giant nail was added. It was a 10-foot long nail added to the outside of the tread there to promote the nail guard technology tires. Originally, the company had wanted it to be animated. So a lot of people don't know that. Originally, they wanted on some sort of large guy wire or pole or something to have the nail coming from outside the tire and actually puncture the tire. But that was going to cost a ridiculous amount of money to do that.
That would have been cool.
So they settled for just a nail sticking out of it. And then when that campaign ended, they no longer carried that tire as part of the whole I-94 revitalization project. They decided they were going to give the tire a facelift. At the same time, they pulled the nail out.
Well, what year was that?
That was in 1994. No, I'm sorry. It was in 2003. They went in 98. Excuse me. And they pulled it out in 2004. It was
Did they plug the leak with a patch?
Actually, it never actually punctured it. It was stuck to the outside on a mounting plate. So the plate went on, fastened from like four corners kind of thing. And when that came out, so there's just a few little holes in it.
Okay.
But the tire was donated then to the city of Allen Park. And what they did was they put it up on eBay and they sold it to raise funds for the Allen Park Historical Museum.
How much did they get?
$3,000. They used a buy it now option. So Ralph Roberts from I think he's from Oak Park decided that he wanted it to promote his business, so he snapped it up for $3,000, and he spent over $100,000 on a Hummer and a special trailer to drag it all over town, using it to promote his business.
Well, where is it now? Is it still on his Hummer?
Because Mr. Roberts no longer has his realty business. He had some legal troubles here and there, and so it's now missing in action. I contacted Mr. Roberts for my book that I wrote about the giant tire, and he basically declined to participate in the book. So we don't really know where the tire or the nail is. On his bankruptcy filings, he did list it as a $3,000 asset, though. So that's the last we heard of it.
Wow. People want to know where it is.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, train on the move. All right, Steve, on this giant tire, I hate the wheel cover. That is butt ugly. I'm not crazy about that design. What's the story on the design? Are they gonna update it maybe and put something that looks cooler?
Okay, well, you say that it's ugly, but you're comparing it now. You're saying that in 2019, right? Think back in the year 1994. What would have been current, what would have been hip back then. So in 1992, Oldsmobile they still were making station wagons, and they had their custom cruiser station wagon. So it was the top of the line, it was a fancy ass station wagon, and the wheels that they had on it looked a lot like that.
Yeah, back then a station wagon was cool.
It was hip in 1994 because it was based on the 1992 model year Oldsmobile, which, again, if you look back at the pictures of it, it was pretty modern looking. Go back even further to 1964 when they built this thing. The wheel cover they had on it then was based on I think it was a 1962 wheel cover. Again, it was the current style of the day. So in 1994, they decided to update the design, which is what you're seeing there now, and that's when they switched it from a bias ply to a radial tire. Again, that's what the current trend in tires were, and that's when it also lost the white wheel, the white walls. It went from a white wall to a black wall in 1994. So yes, in 2019, it might look dated, but in
they need
1994, so
they need an update.
Now here's an interesting thought. Rather than updating it to 2019 style, what if we went back to 1964 on a vintage retro look?
There you go.
Now,
I'm down with that.
You know what would be involved in doing that? Just taking that wheel cover off. The original 1964 design is still underneath there.
Wow.
So all I have to do is take it off, and we're back to 1964.
That sounds easy to me. I'm easy and cheap.
Yep.
What's not to like?
It also had a red stripe. So I don't know if you could see it from this angle with the lighting, but there's kind of a... That was what they called the red circle of security. But again, that was a U.S. Royal marketing trick, or
with the red line tires.
It was the red circle of security, and it had a white wall.
Now you're saying Uniroyal got bought out by Michelin now.
Yep.
So should they update this and put a Michelin tire on there, or what?
Well, the idea was that this was a billboard for the Uniroyal or US Royal brand tire, and it still is. So Uniroyal is still a brand. They still sell Uniroyal tires, and so this is still a marketing device, a billboard to promote Uniroyal tires. So it'd be no different than Ford and Lincoln. They still make Lincolns, but it's the Ford Motor Company. So it's a brand name. It's not a company name. So I think it's fine the way it is.
Okay.
Another Urban Explorer over there.
So that's how you get in through that
Prior-
door there,
yeah,
huh?
Prior to 2003, the only way to in is that access panel that's right below those security lights. And in order to get up there, you had to bring a ladder with you. So there have been a few Urban Explorers over the years that did climb up inside there. They got busted, but they did do it. One of the big urban legends is that there were people living inside of this at one point. There's no evidence to support that. There have been people that have broken into it, yes, more like vandals or just urban explorers. But as far as living in it, that would be pretty hard to do, since you would need a ladder to get up through the access port, and that would have been noticeable. Nowadays, though, you do have the door down below, but that's all secured up as well. So you've got better security on the fences than it used to be. You got razor wire, you got secured door, so it is a more secure facility than it used to be.
Can we still go to the top of the tire and take a peek?
That has never been open to the public, unfortunately. I've been up there.
Darn!
It's a climb you don't want to make more than once.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's just say it's not OSHA rated. It's not really a work site. You can't, it is possible to get up there, but it's a harrowing climb.
Is this all protected here? Oh, but one worth taking.
Everything that I know everything south of the tire is protected. I'm not sure about this area.
Okay.
And then you've got the whole thing. They had all of Baker College. And then they slowly sold pieces off. And the last little bit, the stuff that runs alongside the freeway, they were holding on to, but I think they donated or they gave it to Baker College. So I believe the Michelin land ends at Curtis Creek. But I have to look at the map again.
All right. Oh, there's room for a welcome center, a Pure Michigan Welcome Center.
Let's get some water during the heavy rains and runoff. That's a lot cleaner than it was this last summer.
It's still considered the creek here, though, huh?
This is Ecorse Creek.
Okay, now that's kind of like a regular size tire. And then they have like monster tires. And that where we talked about earlier is a giant tire, but is there any tire out there that, and it's not proper English, but is there a tire that's gianter than that giant tire?
Nope, that is the world's largest, well, they say a replica of a tire, so there is none larger. There are going to be real tires that aren't that big, but that is the world's largest replica of an automotive or a vehicle tire. If that were to fit a real car or a vehicle, the car would be 200 feet tall.
Let's do it.
As it stands right now, that tire is about 80 feet tall, and it would fit a 200-foot tall car.
Okay, now, because this is kind of like a photo op, what if we did like a Pure Michigan rest area or a welcome center or something like that to welcome people to Detroit, after they land at the airport or whatnot?
Sure, I mean, a lot of people don't realize, but I-94 here, where we're sitting, this stretch is actually traveling in more in a northbound direction. So I-94 is an eastbound, westbound freeway coming all the way from Chicago. It passes by Metro Airport, so you have Chicago traffic, and all across western Michigan, pick up traffic on I-94, passes the airport, and then it makes a sharp
left turn. Basically, the whole freeway turns and heads north on its way to Detroit. Detroit is technically just a few miles down the street. So this is the perfect place as a transition from, let's say, southwest Michigan or the airport area to the Detroit area. So this would be a perfect place for, like you said, like a sort of a welcome center. It would be welcome to Southeast Michigan, welcome to Detroit before you actually enter Detroit. But what a perfect place to put an air filling station. Remember the days every gas station had free air? You need air in your tires, where'd you go? You went to the gas station. When was the last time you got free air at a gas station? This would be a public service that Michelin and Uniroyal can do, that if you're traveling down the road and you see this giant tire, you know you can pull off here, check your air pressure, and get your tires filled up for free.
Safety first. I like
Safety
that.
first. Always thinking about that customer. And of course, while they're here, they would see all the great benefits of having Uniroyal tires and promotions like that, but this would be a perfect place for a free air filling station.
I'm buying into that, yeah. Now all you have is free hot air, but yeah, that's another story. Trains. Trains rock and roll. They're awesome.
There's Santa Fe. I mean, that's another company. They had an old-fashioned bell, so it's ding, 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 you know, as it went by. It does look like lumber, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's plywood. Things that I wouldn't be, you can smell it. Smell the plywood?
Yep.
It's like Home Depot. So I wouldn't be surprised if Well, yeah, if you want to come out here and look at trains, right get that around there. There wasn't the only one.
Signs, everywhere a sign.
So I'm way the hell off the road before I start trying to take pictures. But it looks like he was trying to get a shot with his motorcycle.
Now, what do you have coming up in Plymouth at the library? You're going to have a memorabilia and...
So I got two things going on at the Plymouth Library. One of them is an author fair. So I'm one of, I think it's 22 authors that we have our books out there, so you can come and talk to us about our books, and you can buy them and I'll sign them. But then also later I'm doing a slide presentation and question and answer session where I've got some relics of the tire. So I've got pieces of fiberglass that came off the tire. I've got the toy that was made back in '64 of the tire. And I've got vintage slides, so actual 35 millimeter slides that were taken during the World's Fair. So what I like about slides is that piece of film was actually at the fair. It's not a copy, it's not something printed out of a book or something like that. The slide itself was actually there. A photographer stood just like we are today, taking a picture of that tire, and I've got that piece of film. So I've got roughly two dozen original slides that I show, and I actually show them in a vintage slide projector. So instead of scanning them and showing them on a computer, I bring a real slide projector as if it's like home movies or like when your dad used to show vacation slides, that kind of a thing. And
so
that's
when
how I
is
show
this
it.
presentation?
That'll be in May. So if you go to gianttire.info, you can get links to all the events I'll be at, and you can actually buy the book there too. So this is my book called The Giant Tire, and this is about 13 months worth of research. The biggest challenge with the Giant Tire is that all of the official company records were lost in the 60s. We're not exactly sure when it occurred, but it was most likely when U.S. Rubber moved its entire tire division from New York to Detroit. So all the engineers, all the salespeople, marketing people, and the entire division of the tire division we're forced to move to Detroit, and so I'm sure there's a lot of unhappy people having to leave their homes, and so we think that's when all the records were lost. So I was able to piece together a lot online, a lot of personal testimony, and I pieced together everything there is to know about the Giant Tire is in this book now. So you can get this at gianttire.info. You can also get it on Amazon, but you're going to pay a whole lot more for it. If you get it directly from the distributor, gianttire.info, it's a lot cheaper. So this contains 284 full-color pages.
Well, can we take a peek inside, or?
Sure. Hey, come over my shoulder. I'll show you. We'll flip through here. So basically, this is initial concept art. So those that are having a hard time conceptualizing what it used to look like as a Ferris wheel, that's the first piece of concept art. I've got pictures from the construction of it in 1964, press releases talking about the new Ferris wheel at the World's Fair. So right now it sits at I-94, but this was a Grand Parkway there in New York. So this is what it looked like while they were building it. We got some promotional information, some ads that were placed in newspapers, brochures, comic books. Again, most people don't realize here in Detroit that it was featured in so many different things. A coloring book. There was a toy produced of it, which is actually quite collectible now. So there's the toy. And then I've got a lot of nice color photos of the tire while it was at the fair.
This looks like a tourist trap to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interviews with people that actually worked at the tire. So this is Sue Van Winkle. She actually sold tickets and souvenirs at the tire in 1965.
Neat.
So some of the workers. And it was situated next to the Sinclair Dinosaur Land.
Yeah,
so
I saw a dinosaur there. That was...
and that's the Ferris wheel when it moved to New Jersey. So from New York, the Ferris wheel went to New Jersey, and we got the rest of it here in Detroit.
Interesting.
Newspaper articles, pictures from the inside. So I took that picture when I was inside. More from the inside. So that's 1966 when it was first built.
Takes on nails. I remember that.
Yeah. So there's a whole chapter on how it looked throughout the years, how it changed its logo, the Royal Seal, when it went through different company changes. So that's we got the original letters when they took those off. This is what it looked like when they were putting the new wheel cover on that I mentioned in '94. So these pictures came right from the company that did the work. There's the new letters before they went on. There's the nail. And then in 2003, like I said, they did a revitalization. That's when they put the new door in. They put all new drainage, all new paving. So they really did a lot of work to fix up the tire in 2003. There's the nail being removed. So like I said, this book contains 13 months worth of research, and there's a lot of information I was able to find. It wasn't easy, but this is everything there is to know about the Giant Tire is now in this book.
So no question goes unanswered.
No.
All right.
So it was really popular.
It's like the dinosaurs eating the tire there.
Yeah, so that was a really popular angle. So the Sinclair Dinosaur Land was right next door to the tire. And so it was a really popular photo spot right here to show that the dinosaur was eating the tire.
Well, maybe we need to get a dinosaur here too.
Well, that dinosaur still exists. It's in Texas. I think all of the dinosaurs.
So this can
live
be
somewhere.
done.
It could be, yeah. You'd have to talk the dinosaur park in Texas out of the dinosaur, but it could be done. So they have
bring them back together.
Yeah, so they have the T-Rex and the large Brontosaurus, the symbol of Sinclair. They've got them both at the dinosaur park in Texas. that are familiar with the trains in the area, this set of tracks did have those cement arches that Henry Ford had put up to electrify
The
this rail.
horseshoes.
Yeah, so this section did have them up at one time. And then when that idea was finished and they no longer wanted to have electrified rail, they had started to take down the arches and realized how expensive it was to take them down and realized it wasn't all necessary. So that's why really only like this section has been removed. If you go further down south and west, they're all still there. And you can track them on Google Earth. You can look at the satellite photos. You can see all the arches, and then a lot of the arches in some places are gone, but the pads, the bases that the arches sat on, are still there because they are just.
What was it, about
mammoth.
every 50 feet they had one of those?
Something like that. It was
Yeah.
there was a lot.
There
and they
was.
were very, very well built. Very well built. So the rail was here. Henry Ford bought it. Decided he was going to electrify it, which he did. So they ran electric trains here for a couple of years, and then he decided it wasn't cost effective, and just as a true businessman, decided that was the end of that. But the arches are still up on the other set of tracks over there. But this line did have arches at one time.
What do you think? Are these going to the Rouge?
Probably. These look like
Truck frames.
truck frames. They sure do. I was in that plant in the 80s doing some estimating work for the piping company I was working for when they were still making the Mustang there. So, they had the Rouge Tour now, but I was there when looking at a piece of equipment for, it was like an air dryer system or something, and literally, 5 feet behind me was the Mustang line going down the lane.
Yeah, these are some pretty big frames.
Those are big trucks.
Big trucks. Yes, indeed.
What up?
You're talking about the quick lane
Yeah.
bowl that they had at Ford
Yeah.
Field.
Yep.
Oh, so this book is really current.
Yeah. It's actually as current as December of 2018. I'm sorry, January of 2019, when the new aircraft avoidance light got put in.
Oh, you had a nice view from the top there, huh?
So that picture was taken by the electrician that installed the new light.
Okay, so planes don't hit it.
Well, it's actually lower than the utility lines are now today. But the FAA actually said that pilots use that as a navigation aid, so they appreciated the fact that the light was maintained.
Yeah, you don't want to hit the giant tire.
But yeah, pilots use it as a navigation aid. I capped off the damage then. And then when I was here for the holiday train, I noticed that the one remaining bulb was burned out. So I let Michelin know, and they just contacted the electrician, and the electrician decided to go ahead and replace the whole fixture. Buddy, here though, you might bottom out. Keep going. So I would say they would probably need to, depending on the entrance and
I
exit.
didn't want to get stuck in all that muck.
Anyway, they're going to have to do some work to make it appropriate, bridge over the creek, because that's not it. Well, if you wanted to photo op with your car, that's the thing. You'd have to have a roadway to go back there. If all you're looking for is photo op just to take a picture of you in the tire, then yeah, you could park here and walk in. So, you know what I mean? It depends on...
Right, coming up from Monroe.
Yeah. Then you miss all the airport and Chicago traffic.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna need a car wash. Kick-ass moon. Batman. Gas prices are going up. But here, yeah, the Ecorse Creek, the North Branch, this is close by to where I live, but we get some good rains, it'll flood, and they had some issues with homes on Hanover Street. All the time you have issues with that. All right, well, at the house, I got a bird feeder, and here's another sign of spring. The yellow birds escaped during the winter, but yeah, they're back. So, birds are having at it. All right, the third part of this show, live glass blowing here at the Glass Academy on the western fringe of the city of Dearborn. It's kind of like an industrial park area. But first, meeting with the cousin, a kind of a family thing, and we decided to do carry-out, so we had some fancy cuisine here. And it's like, yeah, but we're gonna get some glass blowing.
Yeah, some sort of beef.
Crazy how
This is the herbs and spices on sale. Oh my God, you got 2 of these. She said she's gonna leave in the morning.
I'll take a plate. They have some glassy chicks. They could be classy too. I've seen some of those. But yeah, this is my sister and brother-in-law. And so they had a show here for Easter. And the trick is, and I really think the best way to do is have it custom made. And then you can actually, with your smartphone, take pictures while it's being created, or these smartphones can take video too. So you come up with your own design, they make a little drawing, and then you can watch it being done. Experienced glass blowers, here they're making a mug, but we'll see a few things being made, and that will round out the top of the hour.
We do offer experiences, so if you want to try it out, very low. And that will be ready for
Yeah, Etsy, I had to find that out about that. Handmade, Michigan's perfect for that. Handmade, get it? Took me a while, I figured it out. Various shows throughout the year, so kind of a seasonal thing with the Christmas thing. They do the Christmas tree, the snowmen, and various things. The pumpkin show, that obviously takes place in October, so forth. Different color pumpkins, you think just traditional orange, but it can, whatever the brain can conceive, it can be achieved kind of thing. But yeah, they call it the Pumpkin Fest. And it was voted the best pumpkin show. How about that? Now they have name tags, and I'm told if you want, you could come up with your own name and do it up. Or you can accept the name that was put on there. I was telling them they could put a born-on date for these things. But, yeah, well, it's kind of like the Easter thing, get ready for the spring and all that. So there's Easter eggs and the like. Easter certainly is another sign of spring, too, that spring has sprung. But, yeah, it's a big to-do. There's the cat that roams the place, owns the place, I should say. Now you can get it with the ears. It's really up to your imagination. You can buy them off the table, or custom order. That's what I would opt for. Here were some custom orders. The thing with the custom thing is they put it in a cool down oven. So it looks great when they make it and so forth, but you got to tell yourself you got to come back the next day because it takes overnight to cool down. And so these were some custom orders. This one here, a carrot. So, yeah, they like their vegetables. Look at this, and this is a door handle.
And this is going to be a door handle for a Mexican restaurant in Ann Arbor. So it's a solid, super duper heavy, but this is going to last for years. It's so super heavy and solid. But this is going to be in a restaurant called Andino's in Plymouth Road in Ann Arbor. I believe they are just now opening. They opened either this weekend.
Wow, we were just in Ann Arbor. What a cool city that is. And here we're in West Dearborn, and it's hot over here. But, yeah, we'll watch Chris Nordine, one of the owners, have at it.
The Italian word for marble, because early Venetian glass blowers would have big slabs of marble that they would roll and shape their glass on. But in Venetian, they're not giving it that kind of pointed carrot shape. Now this is super smooth. You don't want a super smooth carrot, because that just looks really weird. And it just doesn't look natural. So he has in his hands right now a pair of diamond shears. Those diamond shears, he's going to lightly kind of go around, just pinch, 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 pinch. And it's kind of roughing it up, giving it that natural kind of rough texture that you see on a carrot at the store.
Yeah, Chris is making another carrot here, so watch how this is done.
Organic.
To be a perfect carrot.
No GMOs in this carrot.
There we go. That's looking like a nice looking carrot.
So it looks kind of orange now, but it's going to look more of a bright orange when it finally cools down. So to do that, we need to transfer it onto another pipe.
There was a little bit of a laugh earlier. It was whether it was an organic carrot or a romantic carrot. There was some confusion, but I think they figured out the use.
Because he wants to make sure we're making the best piece possible. So we're not going to take not enough fat, so we want the perfect amount, so he'll set it until we get that perfect amount. And that's how we make the best pieces possible.
Ready?
We're going to lift it up, give it a quick little trim. There we go, we got our green glass. Now I'm going to cut that green glass up. So what this is doing is this is roughing it all up. This is creating that little bit of a green vegetation that you see above the ground when you have a carrot growing in the ground. Just kind of roughing that up, giving it that texture of some nice green greens. Oh yeah.
We don't want it to be too fragile.
Look at that. That is the snazziest carrot I have ever seen.
Non-GMO.
Non-GMO, all organic.
Cool down. This will be bright orange. Orange looks brown when it's hot.
So it looks like a dingy orange right now, but that's only because it is still very, very, very. So we're going to set that on the fire right there. He's going to do a quick little torch on it. We're getting that, make sure there's no rough edges, so it's a nice beautiful little orange carrot. There we go. So now that carrot needs to go away, and it needs to grow overnight in our little incubator.
Okay, they got the train tracks here. They're right in their back door, or right behind their back door. So the Amtrak train runs down to Chicago through here. The planes as they make their approach to Metro. That's Gully. Next one's Beach Daily, and then Inkster. I'll take a little spin around the neighborhood. This is just south of US 12, Michigan Avenue, and right next door to the Home Depot. Home Depot is officially in Dearborn Heights, but on the east side it's Dearborn here, and they have a nice woodcut sign. I'll vouch for this barbecue place. And then they have the McDonald's. Here, Dearborn Heights not as classy welcome to the city sign as what Dearborn has, but it's just a thin stretch. Dearborn Heights, there's North Dearborn Heights and South Dearborn Heights. Cricket, I can vouch for that place too, but it's been a while. Yeah, but back in the day. And then the Falcon Inn Motel nearby. And next door they have a Natural Stone and Granite. So it's kind of a small industrial park. But now some artistes have this nice space here on Trowbridge. And it's fun actually watching glass. They're making a guitar here now, so some fine tuning. We're going to have let's watch this. There's the guitar. And when Chris has to work in concert, but there you can see the bass of the guitar.
Over here we have our normal soft glass going. Over here we have lamp work. Actually, Bill's working on a piece right now. So.
He wants it to look just like that, but it's amazing the detail here they can do. This is interesting. This is a one-off. They're just doing this on the fly.
Okay. There we go. Attach that little neck there. Oh, we gotta stretch that neck. Connect it at the bottom there, because you don't want to get that too cold. If it's too cold, the little guitar will pop right off.
Chris is making a glass guitar.
That's amazing. It's awesome.
Our color for the chick?
Yeah. Color? The orange that's in there?
That chick body.
Good.
400 degrees. This one we can actually turn off at the end of the day. We're done working on it.
So now he's going to make a glassy chick to hold the guitar. And that'll have to be the start of next week's show. We'll have to wait for that. How's that for a teaser? We'll just have to stay tuned each and every week. Shake your tail feather. Chris is getting fancy. There's several tail feathers there. But folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for Steve Fry to answer a lot of questions and give a lot of info on the Giant tire. And go online to get the test. But at gianttire.info. Good night.
Time to stretch it.